slip this into a busy day.
Oh, this kid.
All right. Hope everybody's got their
good.
ballots and everything. All right. Well, I'm here really to announce that the Office of the Attorney General is seeking an immediate emergency suspension of Dr. Tiwari's medical license. This has been an ongoing problem and one that there's continuing investigations into the practice of Dr. Tiwari. It's now to the point where we believe that his intentional efforts to circumvent the fact that the DEA has suspended his prescription license, this effort to circumvent really poses an immediate danger to his patients that he's seeing not only in Indianapolis but throughout South and Central Indiana. So at this point we have filed an emergency suspension request, and there will be a hearing tomorrow afternoon. This is somewhat of a unique case, and I think one that suggests that this emergency suspension is necessary. But at least in all the years I've worked in the Office of the Attorney General, I've never seen a case where a physician has gone out of their way to try to circumvent the clear restrictions in place by both the DEA and this office. So at this point, I think it's really in the public's interest that we suspend his license, and that's what we'll be asking tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
General, what did he do to circumvent? How did he do that?
Well, the complaint has kind of the specifics, but essentially what he's done is he's asked another physician who's also had his license to prescribe now suspended as well. But he's asked another physician to write prescriptions on his behalf without having first seen patients. We also claim that he's had him fill out his name on prescriptions so that he could fill in the rest. So it's a pretty clear effort to circumvent the fact that he no longer has the right to prescribe narcotics himself.
And what are we talking about in terms of the potency or the danger of the drug?
Again, it's almost unprecedented to see the amount of prescriptions in the pain management clinic. It is a very difficult practice. This office has worked with the professionals in pain management, but this is really over the top. The work that he's done in some of the prescriptions really is an abuse, and I think it's a real danger to the patients. We're likely to see a number of people who are addicted to the cocktail of prescription drugs show up in emergency rooms, so there will be some fallout from this, but again, the clear and immediate danger to the public really requires that we ask to suspend his license to practice.
Greg, the doctor came to your attention in April when the DEA pulled his license to provide prescriptions, but for 3 months he's been able to practice medicine in Indiana. Did the state fail in stopping this doctor? After all, he was still seeing patients and still was around those prescriptions even though he couldn't write them.
Well, I think the fact that his license to prescribe had been suspended by the DEA, that was really the concern that this office had. So the fact that he could continue to be a doctor was not really the worry. We had never seen someone circumvent to this level where they go around and have another doctor fill out a prescription pad so that he can continue to violate the restrictions against his prescribing. So really it's unprecedented to see this level of effort to circumvent it, and I don't think it's something that we really expected from a physician. So in retrospect, had we known, we may have treated it differently, but again, we have a great deal of respect for physicians in the state, and we had no idea that Dr. Tiwari would circumvent the restrictions on his license and violate really some fairly significant statutes. So I don't think we could have expected this out of any professional.
And sir, now that you've seen this occur, in the future there's another situation similar to this where the DEA actually pulls a license. Will you reconsider if the law allows you to also pull the state medical license?
I think we're going to have to look at some of the practices in the area of pain management, and particularly in these areas of prescriptions. I think there is a lot of concern about prescription medicines falling into the wrong hands. And it's something that we're looking to work with the professionals in the pain management area because it's something that we don't want to underprescribe people who are in chronic pain. So there's a real significant problem of people who do have chronic pain that need this type of regimen of prescriptions. But it is something we're going to have to address, and I think rightly with the not only the board, but the professionals in the area of pain management.
And sir, can you address the fact that in recent months this office has aggressively taken action against doctors who have been providing an amazing amounts of narcotic drugs, over the top as you pointed, but this office has gone after Dr. Foley, Dr. Tiwari, Ballinger, Manalo, the list goes on and on and on.
No, and it is something that I think it comes as the basis of greater cooperation between the Office of the Attorney General, DEA, and other people kind of in this area. So we've been working very closely with our own Medicaid fraud unit, the DEA, and the U.S. Attorney's Office. So you will see a lot more attention to this, but I think the problem itself is growing. So whether it's the overprescribing or finding prescription drugs in the hands of teenagers, people in high schools. So there's a large problem that I think we're addressing, but it's a collaborative effort, not just the Office of the Attorney General, but the U.S. Attorney's Office and the DEA as well.
In the complaint, the complaint says that Dr. Tiwari called some of his colleagues to a local restaurant to make a deal, sort of having a traveling sidekick. You just mentioned that you've never seen that before. It's unprecedented. Was he hoping that you wouldn't catch on? And was that not a major risk?
Well, I better let Dr. Tiwari's attorney answer that, but I will say that it was not something that I could have really expected. And again, we've never seen this in the past. It may raise questions in the future, though, where we see pain management clinics like this that do have a number of physicians. But it's pretty clear that you could never write a prescription to a patient you've not seen. So the fact that he was asking, or at least in our allegations, that he was asking another doctor to sign prescription pads is just, it was hard to believe that a medical professional would do that.
And is that what they would do now? They would go to the other clinics then, or he would go representing doctor at these other clinics? Why the circuit case?
Well, it was a whole number of things that we're going to allege before the board tomorrow. So I don't think it was always the same pattern. There were a number of different ways to have the doctor who, again, the key is that he had not seen the patient himself. So whether he had signed the prescription pad for Dr. Tiwari, or whether he was prescribing himself to a patient that he hadn't personally seen, either one of them is a violation. But I think our direction tomorrow is all about Dr. Tiwari, who seems to have organized and managed the entire effort here to circumvent the fact that he doesn't have the DEA license.
The other doctors in the practice, would they face any possible action?
Well, some of that goes to either the U.S. Attorney's Office or our own Medicaid fraud area, so I think I better leave that one for another day.
And has Dr. Ballinger said, acknowledged that yes, he did in fact do this?
That's in our complaint that we have him saying that to some of our investigators. That's true.
Does he regret that?
Again, I'll let him describe his own feelings about it. I think the fact that we've had to make this extraordinary effort is something that if he doesn't regret, he will soon come to.
Anything else?
Thanks again.
I just want to let him know about the files if everything.
I did. I got them, yeah.
Okay.
I have copies of the balance.
It's one of the things